Hey Bethlehem, this is Pastor Paul, and we are in week number 2 of this small group study, Living Life Together. And in this study, what we want to do is we want to talk about how we can live together as a Christian community and what that requires. At the foundation of any community, of any relationship, is love. If we're going to be a Christian community, then we need to have love. And last week, we learned that the type of love that we are to have is the love that Jesus has for us. Jesus told his disciples, "Love as I have loved you." And how has Jesus loved us? From the beginning of his life and even until now, the love of Jesus can be summarized with the word sacrifice. Jesus sacrificed to love people. I think that brings us to the next question. Why are we to love? Why is love important? Now, I think we could say, hey, we love because that's the command that God's given us. But doesn't that kind of seem, when you think about it, kind of lack some sincerity? The reason I'm loving you is because that's what God's commanded. I'm just loving you out of obedience. Now, when we truly love somebody, our desire for the other person is that they would experience the best. So when my children are sick, I want them to get better. That's the best I want for them. I want them to get better. I want them to be able to enjoy life, to live life. And in that process, I sacrifice them. I sacrifice my sleep. I sacrifice by cleaning up after them. All in hopes that as I love them, they will get better. See, when we love somebody, when we want the best for them, then it makes the sacrifice not seem so painful. And there's this story that John shares at the beginning of his gospel that reveals this desire Jesus had that others may experience the best. It's found in John chapter 2. So John chapter 2, starting with verse 1. The next day there was a wedding celebration in the village of Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples were also invited to the celebration. The wine supply ran out during the festivities, so Jesus' mother told them, "They have no more wine." "Dear woman, that's not our problem," Jesus replied. "My time has not yet come." But his mother told the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Standing nearby were 6 stone water jars used for Jewish ceremonial washing. Each could hold 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus told the servants, "Fill the jars with water." Then when the jars had been filled, he said, "Now dip some out and take it to the master of ceremonies." So the servants followed his instructions. When the master of ceremonies tasted the water that was now wine, not knowing where it had come from, though of course the servants knew, he called the bridegroom over. "A host always serves the best wine first," he said. "Then when everyone has had a lot to drink, he brings out the least expensive wine. But you have kept the best wine until now." This miraculous sign at Cana in Galilee was the first time Jesus revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. Now remember here, one of John's purposes is to build this case, to show some evidence that Jesus is in fact the Messiah, the prophet, the one that that the Jewish people had been longing for, that Jesus is truly the Son of God. That's what he is hoping to accomplish. And he shares this story, and it appears that Jesus at this time wasn't really ready to start doing miracles yet. But his mom comes over and says, "Hey, this is the situation. The wine has run out. The bride and the bridegroom, this happy couple, they're going to be shamed because they don't have any more wine." And out of a sense of honoring his mother, Jesus performs this miracle of turning the water into wine. And the amazing thing here is that Jesus doesn't just do the minimum. He doesn't just make some wine, some cheap wine that you could get in a box. No, Jesus makes this great tasting, wonderful, expensive wine. And he doesn't just create a couple bottles of it. No, he does 120 to 180 gallons of this great tasting wine. It is an extravagant thing that Jesus does because he wants to honor his mom. He wants this great experience for this couple. And so he does this thing that was extravagant. He wants them to experience the best. And that's what we need to strive for as we love one another, that we would help each other experience the best, that we want the best for one another. So I want you to think about this question as you discuss. How can I show other people the best? How can I desire the best for other people? I hope you have a good time discussing, and we'll talk again next week.